Hey, today's shave is with the Semogue 1800. It's a great little inexpensive brush, and some of the tips have started to split. I had this one soaking for a few hours prior to the shave. It's only got 13 or 12 uses on it, so that's why I'm doing kind of a little bit of a break-in. It's part of my Boarathon, which I'm raising up about 7 boars at the same time, watching how they differ. The harder wear is this open comb from Karve shaving, and this is the Chris Bradley razor. This is the B. 2 days ago I shaved with the A open comb, loved it completely. Then yesterday I shaved with the A solid bar or closed comb, and that was just really smooth, but I kind of missed that little controlled cutting action, that the perception of the blade feel that I had with the open comb. Let's see what this guy has. Inside him we're going to put the same blade I've been using, the Gillette Silver Blue, and he's had 3 uses already. Another thing I'm doing in this shave is just kind of putting up another video with Stirling soaps as the lather maker, because I get great performance from Stirling, and apparently not everybody else does. And so as I'm putting this blade in the razor, I am going to be using Stirling Spice today, one that may have been in my very first order from Stirling, because I knew I liked the Old Spice type scent. Pretty sure it was. So it's been a while. Alright, so see, we have a little bit more of a blade exposure with the B here. Let's just see how it feels. So here's the Stirling Spice. Pretty new, just used a couple of times. Smells great. And yesterday I used I don't have it here with me, a Badger brush that was pretty dense, Manchurian, and it had a good bit of backbone, and so I think it picked up more soap. And so I ended up with about twice as much soap as I really needed. This is a much smaller Boar brush. It doesn't have, I don't think it has as much backbone. So I'm going to use the same time of loading for this brush. And this is also distilled water. Shake most of it out. I'm going to load for 50 seconds, just like I did yesterday. And we'll just see how much lather I end up with. All right, we're coming around to 30 seconds here in 2, 1, go. This is a smaller Boar brush, 23 millimeter, something like that maybe. Just medium pressure on the putt. And we'll go until 20 seconds after the minute. There's the minute. Probably going to end up with lots of lather here. Might be the same situation. There we go. I think it'll be a fun comparison to see how much lather I end up with 50 seconds loading of both the one yesterday and this little Boar today. I'm going to rinse this up, clean it up a little bit. All right, also threw a little bit of water on my face. So let us take my computer printed lather bowl here. If you want to do that, have access to a 3D printer, feel free to grab the files. There's a link in the description of this video. think I used about 6 teaspoons of water with yesterday's badger brush. Also curious how much water I'll need with this guy. Nice strong scent coming up. Not a good soap for people who like mild scents. So we've got 2 teaspoons in it. Wow, just 2 teaspoons, and I'm looking like I need to maybe not add any more. So that's quite a difference. I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon now. Pull it out and just see what kind of elasticity we have. Yeah, that's pretty good. Add another 1/2. Maybe I don't need to call it quite so soon. Let's take another look. Kind of elastic there. Let's do a little bit more water. That's 3½ teaspoons in. It's probably going to be a good stopping point. Love this inner lip on this bowl. Keeps the lather kind of turned back in. Don't have to spend all my time chasing, keeping the lather in. Very nice. Look at that. Let's just shave with it, see what happens. All right, one little splash of water. Nice, light, comfy brush. Looking like I'm going to need to add some more water. The tips aren't super soft yet, but the backbone really is a little bit on the, just a little bit lower than medium, and so that kind of makes up for it. A little massagey, you know, but it'll be nice once the tips kind of finish splitting. It's not a big brush, but as you can see, I have a U-shaped tract of land that is what I have to deal with, and so a big old brush is kind of wasted on me. All right, nice strong scent. I'd say maybe 7 out of 10. It's pretty rare. Maybe they figured that whoever was going to want to shave with this was going to want to smell it. All right. Hey, here we go. You look at it, make sure that, yep, it's the B. Open comb B. Very good first impression. I can feel the exposure being just a little bit more. It's not quite as smooth as the A open comb, but it's by no means aggressive. Still feels very controlled. Very nice. A little bit more blade feel. Probably what I just said. All right, I'm gonna rinse. All right, second pass. A lot of splay to this brush. If you don't like that, you can throw an O-ring around the base. Maybe 2. I think some people might say the backbone's a little too low for them, but it works pretty well for me. I like the comfort. All right, pass number 2. Super smooth here. I do have the blade feel, but it's pretty minimal. Very predictable, consistent. Lather's doing well to give me nice glide. I can tell I do need to be careful with this one. In my neck there are swirls, and I need to be careful with my direction so that I don't come at with my hair growth this way. If I come at it against the grain a little too early in my shave, it's not going to go well for me. I'll throw up some razor burn. And rinse time. All right, third pass. So yeah, this little Boar brush with the same amount of time didn't stir up nearly as much soap into its bristles as the big Badger brush, but that's not a surprise, but it's good to have kind of concrete, quantifiable data. Very nice. The non-shaveable area right there where my beard doesn't go down to. If I shave there by accident, a lot of times I can give myself a nick. So it'll be really interesting to see the feel difference between this and the B or the C closed comb that I have. The A is just so smooth that it's quite a difference between the open and closed comb. The blade feel is definitely there with the A, but it was very nice, very controlled. It was, I mentioned this earlier, but in the other video, but it was almost like a perfectly trained surgeon was just moving the blade along the surface of my skin at exactly the right 0 point elevation to where it cut the hairs perfectly but didn't dig into my skin at all. And that's just what it felt like. Pretty cool. Now as we get into the higher gaps, I imagine the aggression feel and the blade feel might start to kind of resemble each other. So that'll be fun to see. This is the highest open comb I decided to go used this time. I found a good deal online. And so, because I'm really happy with my solid bar selection that I have for this razor. I'm really happy I have that A. I mean, this is nice. This is enjoyable. And you know it's going to give you a good close cut. But that A was just magical for me. All right, rinse. Yeah, so an excellent shave. Very comfortable. The aggression level just wasn't as you might expect from a B, which is kind of the mid to slightly lower than mid-range on his spectrum. So you kind of expect that. But you're just really comfortable, but aggressive enough to, I think it rides a nice little middle line between good efficient cutting and comfort. Whereas the A open comb it's a little bit more toward the comfort, but still takes care of business without a problem. So I probably might favor the A, but I can see how tons of people would get a lot of joy out of the B with just the versatility that it's going to offer and the comfort at the same time. So yeah, I could definitely tell a difference between the two gaps, but you know, and your preference is going to decide which one's better for you. But I could see this as being a good daily driver. Very good. And how much extra lather did I end up with? A little bit less than the shave the other day with the Badger. This didn't quite stir up as much soap. And as we mentioned earlier, so here's the little 1800. He's just a much smaller knot. The other Badger was the Manchurian, and he kind of looked more like this. So, you know, that's just a big difference. Just finished dropping this guy on a towel back there, and you know, as he's going to get softer and more enjoyable as the tips split, but already he almost is a little bit too relaxed for me. So he might benefit from a little O-ring around the base, bring those bristles in, give you a little bit more focus. I might think about doing that. But he's already an easygoing brush, not very much scrub, no scritch, if those terms make any sense to you. Just very relaxed, and the tips, you know, that'll be interesting to see, because what I almost wish for is just more bristles, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when they keep splitting and the comfort just changes. And it may be just perfect. So we'll just see. We'll look forward to seeing that. So, with this brush, maybe a 40-second load might be about right. 50 still gave me extra lather. So maybe I'd dial it down to 40. So with that big badger, 30 seconds. Maybe even less than that. And that was the Manchurian, not the usual kind of more softer badgers that I prefer. That one's got a little bit of more backbone than I might like currently, but it's young. Hopefully it changes a little bit. So we've got a small, light, almost floppy Boar that looks like maybe 40 seconds might be the way to go with it. And then 30 seconds or less maybe for the Manchurian badger, 26 millimeter big old badger. So there's a couple of figures for you to at least be able to see the difference. Loading time can change based on what kind of brush you might have. Now, if your brushes are different, then obviously that might change your setting. But you can see how maybe a 10-second change might be all you need to do when you switch from one brush to another. And for that 50-second load, we used 4 teaspoons of soap, of water, plus a few sprays from the squirter, so a little bit more than 4 teaspoons. The scent on this soap is really nice. It is still hanging on, which is kind of refreshing. And so I'm not going to get a really strongly scented balm. I've just got my you know, good old, I didn't need that much, Nivea original. And I think they're not marketing this quite in the same packaging anymore. This does have a little bit of alcohol in it. It's one of the few balms that has a little bit of alcohol. I kind of like it because I've got oily skin, and so it kind of helps keep that in check a little bit. But then it also has the nourishing ingredients. There we go. So we'll see how well that scent, it's just a generic manly scent. See how well that blends with the old, I was going to say Old Spice, but with the Stirling spice. All right. Yeah, those two work really well together. I didn't really need anything to come and compete with the Old Spice scent that was already on me from the soap. Very good. There we go. That was a good shave. I enjoyed it. I think it's a good all-around base plate. I think it's very capable of taking down 4 days of growth as well as just 1 day like I did just now. So really happy with that one. Do I want to venture up and try the C? No, what I'll probably do is just wait, see if a used one comes around. I just really enjoy the other solid bar plates, so I'm not in as much of a rush. But really happy with this. The A was magical. The A might be my favorite, but the B is a very good feel too. All right, I'm a happy camper. So this brush, the 1800, it might be losing a little bit of ground with me. because I think I just like a little bit more density and a little bit more backbone. But we do need to wait for those tips to split, because you can't kind of judge a boar until that happens. And we're still just 13 uses in, so it's still very young. But even with the way it is, there are others that I do like better, and that is true. However, if I was stuck with this guy for the rest of my life on a desert island, I'd be just fine. It's a very capable, enjoyable, comfortable brush. So, but I can't wait for the tips to split and see how that changes everything. All right, well, I think we're good. Thanks for watching. I hope there was something here that helped you out. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.